find it very helpful to review to review on YouTube this recording, then you can see how you come across, or at least I can see how I come across on the video for speech and for sight. So I found that very helpful and very useful. Okay, we will now begin. Dennis, if you can introduce the first speaker.
Okay, thank you. You should see that we are recording right now, and I think you have to acknowledge that we are recording. So
I do acknowledge that we are recording. I do see that up there at the top.
I'm sorry, I had a family member call. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my mic. That's why I had that call. Okay, let me go ahead and introduce our first and only speaker. Okay, our first speaker is going to be giving his presentation out of the Path Dynamic Leadership, and it is the first speech in level 1, which is the icebreaker, and it'll be from 4 to 6 minutes. The title of the speech is Rebel with a Clause. And it says, Gary is a professional advertising copywriter with over 30 years of experience. He has written more than 2,000 companies of all kinds around the world. Gary joined Toastmasters in 2012 and has competed in the humorous and tall tales speech contests at the district level. Please help me welcome our speaker, Gary Walterscheid, speaking on Rebel with a Clause.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Can everybody hear me okay? Is my audio right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. And as you know, this is my second time with this icebreaker speech, so I didn't get a chance to look at it last time. I apologize for that. But I have to look back at my career, and I guess everybody is able to say that they were born to do something. And it turns out I was born to write. I never knew where that would take me as a kid. My school teachers always said, you have the gift, you need to develop it. So I finished college and I was wondering, what was I gonna do? And I thought of being a screenwriter in Hollywood because I lived in LA and everybody likes movies. And if you have a successful movie, you might make some money. But then one time I was hanging out with my buddy and his dad was in the direct mail business. And he said, hey, what are you gonna do with your writing talent? And I said, I wanna be a screenwriter. He says, don't do that, you'll starve, which is probably true. And he said, you should be a direct mail advertising copywriter. And he gave me a book on how to do it. And this book was fascinating. I took to it, and I happened to be working for an organization at the time that needed a fundraising letter. And so I wrote a fundraising letter, and it smoked what they used to use. So I had tasted blood, and I've never been the same since. And then I got a job at an advertising agency down in Torrance, and that led to another job with two of the guys who are the greatest teachers in our industry. So I was very lucky to get mentored by real gurus. And I did that for a few years and then went on freelance starting in 1991. And this same individual who got me into the business, he was my agent. So he got me all kinds of business and I never had to go out and self-promote. So that's always nice because self-promoting is a pain, as anybody in sales knows. I just popped my thing out of my ear. And so during my career, I've been blessed by having a lot of success because I was trained by guys who were the best. You get trained by the best, you might be able to do as well as they did, and they knew how to turn words into money. And while I was working for them, a client came down to us, and they were located here in Visalia. So I encouraged my boss to take this client on, and we did, and it was a very successful campaign. And then this same client said, hey, Gary, why don't you come up and move to Visalia and work with us here full time? So I did. That was in 1994, and I didn't think I'd stay in Visalia for more than 2 years or so, but I've been here for 26 years now. And I love Visalia, as most people do. We're a different community, I've noticed. And people always say that they love Visalia and they come back to it. And I did too. I was in Baltimore just recently, and instead of staying there, I decided to come back to Visalia. And I love it, and that's why I love Toastmasters too, because the people here are so good. One time when I was first here in Visalia though, I didn't know anybody. And I was dating a girl who worked for my client, but then I foolishly broke up with her. And I decided, you know what, I better write an ad looking for a girlfriend, because the guys I had worked for had done the same thing down in LA, and it was very successful for them. So I decided to do the same thing, and I wrote a half-page ad that appeared in the Times Delta. It's a speech unto itself, but the headline was, LA man moves to Visalia and discovers that all the nicest girls here are already taken. Can you prove him wrong? And then it went on for half a page of text, and I got swamped with responses. It was one of the best things I ever did. I was a dating machine for like 6 weeks straight. And I dated a girl who I chose from that for about 2 years, but it didn't work out. And then I ended up marrying a waitress from Little Italy. That didn't work out either. But I've had a wonderful career, because the good thing about what I do is that it's like writing solving a puzzle, or even writing a hit song every time. So there's a lot of positive feedback when you get to do that. I get a dopamine rush every time I finish a job. And the applause comes from the sales that are generated from our things, because it's all about selling products or services. And when we test our ads, we test one against another to see which one will do better. And mine typically do better than other competing writers. So as a result of that, I've had a successful career where I don't have to go out. I get a lot of referrals and everything. And it's basically an art where you can turn pencil lead into gold. So I call myself an alchemist with words. And it's like being a word artist, but it's like a wonderful career, and I'm glad I bumped into it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I otherwise probably would have been an attorney, and that wouldn't have been so good. So I appreciate everything that Toastmasters has done, because everything that I learned as how to write persuasively was confirmed by Toastmasters. Everything that Toastmasters teaches is exactly the same thing I learned when I was learning how to write persuasively and motivate people and all that kind of good stuff. So Toastmasters is excellent. You're getting the best training you could possibly get by being in Toastmasters. And that's coming from somebody who knows what he's talking about. And I thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, please go to the chat box and please send some private messages to Gary and let him know how he did. Looks like Gigi made it. Hi, Gigi. We still can't get Griselda back on. We'll worry about that a little bit later. So, okay.
She's still trying.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was trying to find my phone number for the Zoom phone number for. I can't find it. Okay, let's see. I'll give everybody a little more time to send some messages to Gary. Where'd he go?
Sure.
And then Gary, you know that once you get all your comments over on the bottom, they're right next to where it says file, there's looks like 3 little dots. If you click on that, there's an option to save the chat.
Gotcha.
So once you get all that, then you can save it, and it becomes a text file on your computer.
All right.
So that's
1
how you
minute.
capture your comments. Okay, thanks, Mimi. Let's see if Olga's ready. I think she's still trying to get a hold of Griselda. I know Griselda was able to get on here before. I'm not sure. 10 people shouldn't knock her off, so I'm not sure what's wrong today. Okay, Olga, you ready to do table topics?
I am.
All right. Well, now it's time to challenge ourselves with our impromptu part of the meeting, where we really don't know what we're going to be asked, but we will soon find out. Please help me welcome our table topic master, Olga Duran. Okay, Olga.
Thank you. I am going to be asking some questions, and who would like to go first? Don't all raise your hands at the same time. Okay, Mimi. Okay, your question is, what have you learned about yourself through this shelter in place?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. What I've learned is that I was preparing for this moment all along. After we moved up to Oregon, I was self-isolating quite a bit. I had already stocked up on the items I needed. Therefore, when it was time to go to the store and get new items, I already had them. It wasn't an issue. We live in a very isolated area. We live at the end of a cul-de-sac that is, the homes are hundreds of feet apart. It's actually a very nice place to be. I'm very thankful that this is where we are today because it has helped me enjoy it even more. I am very appreciative of the fact that we have so much space out here and it's a beautiful place to be. The weather's a little different. We don't get a lot of opportunity to go outside these days. It's been raining quite a bit, but I've learned that it's okay to be isolated. I'm learning a lot about myself. One thing that I have set myself as a goal, one goal that I've set for myself is that I'd like to learn a new skill in the next 30 days. What I did was I downloaded Duolingo. I am learning how to speak Japanese. That's what I have set for myself. And I just think that in the next 30 days, who knows how long it will be eventually, but at least in the next 30 days, I want to learn a new skill. I've learned that there's lots of opportunity even in this isolation.
Yes.
Before.
Awesome. Thank you, Mimi. Who wants to go next? Oh, Gigi wants to go next. Hi, Gigi.
I guess.
Okay, Gigi's question is, what is the first thing you are going to do when we can go out again?
Oh my gosh, that is very first thing I do, I'd get my eyebrows waxed. That's it. Yep, that's it. Because you know what, like with all this craziness, like you, Mimi, I learned how to thread my upper lip. So it's crazy. We get so creative, like wow, like we have to figure out ways to do things. And it, like, I was so excited the other day because like my upper lips is just going bananas and I don't want to go out there, you know, like I still want to look good, like even if I'm home. So it's like, okay, what do I need to do? It's like not use razor, but like I learned, like I watch YouTube, like I'm so like diligent, like okay, how to use the thread and you know techniques. And I made it after an hour. Like my tongue was so sore because when you like thread, you have to hold the thread like between your thumb and like finger. And so I learned it. That's what I'm gonna do, like do my eyebrows thread or wax because yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Gigi. Who's going next? Cindy, it looks like you want to do it.
I actually was just about to volunteer. Somebody else can count my ahs and ums.
Okay. Tell me one thing you have liked about this shelter in place.
One thing I've liked about this shelter in place, Madam Table Topics Master. I've been sheltering in place since about mid-December when all of this cancer stuff started. So I am starting to have a much tougher time with it now than I did even a month ago. It's starting to get to me. I'm tired of watching TV. I'm tired of playing on my phone. I'm tired of reading books. I have no interest in cooking. But I have enjoyed just being alone. I'm a very strong introvert. and that alone time is very good. But sometimes there's too much of a good thing, too much alone time. And I'm to that point now. It really just started yesterday when I just kind of hit that wall and said, I need to see somebody. If it wasn't for the visiting nurse coming once a week and my husband coming home in the evening because he's still working in the office, I would probably be going stir crazy altogether. And seeing people on Zoom for Toastmasters meetings has been wonderful. But the one thing that I am finding out about myself through all of this is that there is such a thing as too much alone time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Cindy. Do we have time for more, Dennis, or we're good? One more? Okay, well, then Dennis, here's your question.
Okay.
Tell me one thing you hate about the shelter in place.
Okay. Madam Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters, the sheltering in place is kind of okay, I guess. I'm retired, so I normally don't have a lot of, well, I don't have to go to work every day, so I have my own schedule now. I don't have to get up at 6 in the morning or whenever to drive to work and back and that type of thing. So that part hasn't really bothered me, but the part that is a problem for me is I don't cook. Actually, I can cook if I want to, but I normally choose not to. I'm by myself, so if I want to go buy some groceries, like if you want to make a salad, you can't just buy a few leaves of lettuce for a salad. You have to buy the whole thing or a whole bag of ready-made stuff. And if you don't eat it up quickly enough, it goes bad. So I usually eat out. And now because of this shelter in place and trying to stay 6 feet apart and not that type of thing, all the restaurants have now gone to either takeout or they've completely shut down. So my resources for meals is limited. So I think that is the part that really has bothered me the most, is that you can't now sit down at home at a restaurant and leisurely eat your meal. You have to go to the restaurant, pick it up, bring it home, and then you have your meal. The meal still is good, but now you got all this stuff to clean up and wash. So that part I don't like. So I hope that we can get back together soon so that I can have a good sit down meal. Madam Topic Master.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, I'll set up the poll here in just a moment to vote. I've
Okay.
almost got it ready.
Griselda, you're back on?
You can go if you want to try one more.
Yes, it's been hard. It keeps cutting me off.
Oh,
Why don't you give her a table topic while I'm doing this, and then I can add her.
okay. I'm going to ask you a question, Griselda.
Okay.
What have you learned about yourself through the shelter in place?
I've been doing my routine, except, going out and taking my kids to the park has been one of the things that has been a challenge for me and for my family, especially them playing sports has been like a torture for them, not being able to be with their friends, their fellow soccer players. I, as a coach, miss all my little kids out there, but I know at the end, it's better off to be safe. I have learned, to be more doing stuff around the house with them, trying to be active still, but it's a challenge not having the freedom to go out and explore a little longer with them. Like I stated, doing my regular routine, working, coming to the office. I mean, I have really not learned a lot, different from all this COVID-19 personally, other than, just being home, not doing, the normal going out, and especially sports. That's one thing that I truly do miss, is being out there in the field every Sunday cheering my boy and my little girl.
Awesome. Thank you, Griselda.
Okay, I have the polling ready. So if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and launch the polling. Everybody should see a pop-up box come up Okay, go ahead and please vote. I have set up, should be set up so that we don't know who voted. I mean, it just gives you who your ballot, your vote, but not who voted. Okay, that's pretty good. We've pretty much all voted. All right. Okay, you ready for the results? Ready for a drum roll, please? You should be sharing the results. Everybody see it?
It was just a second.
Oh, well, let me try again. How about now?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yep.
All
well, that's pretty cool.
Congratulations, Mimi.
Yeah.
Yay, Mimi. That is pretty cool.
That's
That is
awesome.
a very slick system.
That
Uh-huh.
is
You're gonna
slick.
have to tell me how you did that so I can use that for the Lebanon Club.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, are you
Yeah.
the host, Mimi, or is it your account, your Zoom account?
No, our president is the host.
Okay, well, they have to, there's a setting that you have to put in there to allow polling, and then you go to polls, and then it pops up and you can edit the
Okay.
screens.
I'll ask her. Thank
Okay.
you.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Right, I'm gonna stop sharing. Thank you very much, Olga, for doing our table topics.
Thank you.
All right, so Barbara, are you about ready?
Yes, as ready as I'll ever be
Okay,
on
I'm gonna
the Zoom.
I'm going to introduce our general evaluator, take over the rest of the meeting, or at least the last third of the meeting. Please help me welcome our general evaluator, Dave Garrett. Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Well, we had a very exciting time listening about all the different things we could talk about on our table topics. Now we need to finish up this meeting with our evaluation of Gary's speech. And to evaluate Gary's speech is Barbara Archuleta, competent communicator. Barbara.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters, and this is different, doing this on Zoom. However, I really enjoyed Gary's speech because it is an icebreaker, and I learned a lot about him. You know, I didn't know that he was that long in writing. Also, I loved his descriptive words when he said it was like tasted blood. You know, that means, man, he was in. And then he was also very appreciative of the mentorship that he acquired through that time so that he could get bigger and better. I think that is a very important thing to be in our careers, is to appreciate that opportunity when it's there for us. And it was very clear. And then he mentioned about words into money. So he also knows that he's doing his writing. It's a labor, not just a labor of love, but it also created income for him, and that is his job. Being in Visalia, I could understand. I came here not knowing how long I would be here, in the same description. He came in '94, and he's been here for 26 years, and he made something of living here. That gave us history about what Gary is about. The other thing is looking for a girlfriend and doing that ad. That was creative. And that's all part of writing, is being creative. And you got responses. That is even more impressive, that someone would respond. I didn't know that would be available, that would happen. And then you gave a real positive feedback on what your career has been this whole time. And you compared being with Toastmasters and writing. And I thought that was clever to do, because both of them do have creativity. They do have a sense of spontaneity. And I know in writing that would have to happen just as well. You mentioned that it seems to me that you're happy here in Visalia, and that is a good thing. You did mention about you did have some relationships that didn't work out. Maybe there'll be that time that it will or won't. It doesn't. You're still here. You still keep your career going and your positivity. So looking at the paper that the icebreaker paper. For clarity, I believe that your explanation from where you came from to current was very clear. You also, in looking at your vocal variety, one thing that I could say is that, especially because we're on Zoom, I'm having to do a lot of Zooms myself. So I tend to get excited a little bit, and some, you know, the directness is important because that's what they're seeing is you. That's why a little bit more of variety in your tone and putting a smile a little out there could be something for Zoom especially. The other thing is you have great eye contact because it's sort of a captured situation. It's a different way to speak is because you're speaking into basically a camera. It's not like where you can, you know, when you're in a speech mode, you're looking at the different audience. So you did a really good job of staying into the camera, so to speak. Then when it comes to gestures, it's just me. I move my hands. If you can't tell, I'm already moving my hands. But it doesn't hurt to do that so that people pay attention to you because they'll see that. And then also, audience awareness. Well, you know, in Toastmasters, we've always are aware and paying attention. And so it's really hard to grasp their awareness, but I'm assuming that everybody was plugged in and listening. The other thing is comfort level. You seem very comfortable with what you're doing in speaking. And I can see that because it's your experience of what you do in writing that would help that. And then, of course, your interest. It was very interesting to hear about you and more getting to know you. I don't know my time. Where am I at with my time? Because this is not like normal in our meeting.
It's a little bit long.
Okay, so sorry. It's hard. Anyway, time's on our side, right? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Appreciated the comments. Now, could everybody send a few comments via the chat? Private comments to Barbara?
Let me see. Where is it? Let me see.
How do you pick up private comment? Oh, okay, I see.
And as I told Gary, if you want to save the chat box, once all of your comments are received, right down the bottom, there's a box that says file, and then over right to the margin, there's looks like 3 little dots. If you click on that, a box will open and it says save chat, and it'll save the chat information to your computer.
Okay, thank you.
And also, if you only see a few or yourself, you need to click on up in the upper right-hand corner and go to gallery view so that you see a matrix of all of our pictures instead of just one. There's an option for speaker view and gallery view. Gallery gives you the, what TV show was that had all the family members on screen? I forget.
Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
We look like the Brady Bunch.
Well, very good. I think everybody has finished their comments. And now I'm to give an evaluation of the overall meeting. I heard everybody very well. You come through loud and clear. The video is pretty clear for most of us. We still have to have, Olga, you still have a little light. We need to see you. I see a dark figure in front of the screen.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll have to open my blinds maybe.
Maybe. But it shows, and I appreciate the background is very clean and clear, and there isn't many distractions, and everybody kept their mic muted. So I think a job well done. Everybody is learning more and more about how we are to be cooperative on a Zoom meeting. So Dennis, I turn the time back over to you.
Not yet. You got to call in Cindy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I need to call on Cindy. Cindy.
Dave just didn't want to hear.
I didn't want to hear all the ums and ahs that I did.
Well, Dave, you can rest comfortably because I only caught one and one okay for you. Olga, I had 3 1 one okay, and 1 so. Dennis, you had a let's see, 2 okays and a so. Gary, your favorite word was and. You connected a lot of sentences with and, and then, and we did this, and then, several sentences. So it was one big run-on sentence. I stopped counting at about 8, but there were more than that. I also got 1 so and 1 Mimi, you had no real filler words, but you had several start and stops on your sentences where you changed the way the sentence was going, but no filler words. Barbara, most of this came during your evaluation.
Of course.
Your favorite word was and it's really subtle because they kind of sneak in there with a few words, kind of at the end of them. But I counted 16 uhs.
Oh my God, give me the chicken. I'm
4
ready for
you
the
knows, and 2 ants.
Oh,
Gigi, see, there's 1 for me. Gigi had 5 ums and 5 like or so like. Griselda, you had 2 uhs, 3 you knows, and 1 I mean. Everybody else, if you either didn't speak or I didn't catch anything.
Thank you.
And if somebody was counting mine, you can let me know too.
The only
Because
thing
I know there were a few.
you had a double on.
I thought so.
Hey,
That's all I have.
thank you, Cindy. We appreciate everybody's participation. Olga, I love that new look of you. It looks wonderful.
You should have told me sooner.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Dennis, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. Before I conclude, though, there's one person who didn't get a chance to test her microphone, and I'm gonna give Bernice a moment to make some comments so at least we can hear your voice and make sure your microphone's working. So any comments about today's meeting or anything about Zoom or whatever, but we'd like to at least hear your voice.
okay. Well, for me, I enjoy all the stories that people have to say. I'm not really used to speaking in front of people a lot, but I want to get better, and I'm ready to improve myself and learn all of that I can learn from everybody there. And I'm usually a shy person, but I've gotten a lot better over the years. Yeah, but I appreciate all of you. It's been a real learning experience for me.
Okay. All right, Bernice, thank you very much. I just want to make sure that your microphone's working and that we can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, well, that pretty much concludes the meeting. Oh, before we fully conclude, I need to get some names for next week's agenda, I'm sorry, next meeting. Right now, it's a full blank slate. So do we have any volunteers for any of the positions? That'll be on April the 16th. Any volunteers, please? Nobody volunteering?
Are we doing inspiration and word of the day on this, or just
Yes, we are. Robin wasn't here today. But
I'll do it for next week.
Okay, Barbara, thank you.
Dennis, I'll do table topics.
Okay, table topics, Dave, okay.
Griselda, will you do your speech next week or next meeting? Is she gone again?
And I'll go ahead and put her down and we'll see, we'll hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could do it on my laptop if it allows me. So we could do the video.
Yeah, you could at least probably use the Wi-Fi or something and then connect.
Well, we have Wi-Fi here and it's strong. It's just the Zoom, even on the phone, it wouldn't dial the Zoom in.
Huh, that's interesting. They
It'll be
really got it all
easier on
dropped
your
out there.
laptop. Your laptop will be easier.
So yes, I'll definitely put me down to be for
Okay,
next week.
all right, we'll put you down. Okay, anybody else volunteering, please? Otherwise, no volunteers?
I guess I could do the other speech.
Okay, thank you, Olga.
And put me down wherever you need me.
Okay, how about one of the evaluators? Okay. Gigi, are you gonna be able to make it next week or next meeting? Can't hear you. Unmute.
Hi. I should be able to. With all the time in the world right now, yes.
Okay. How about if I give you an easy job? How about being like general evaluator? You just ask
I
the
do
other
something
people to
else?
talk.
You know what? Yeah, let me just do it.
Okay, yeah, I'll just put you. Okay, Mimi. I'm sorry, Gigi. I'll send you something on how to do it. But basically, you just introduce the evaluators, and then you give an overall evaluation of the whole meeting.
And then can I add something? Cindy, I'd like to keep you busy if that's okay with you. If you can help me like like just mentor one-on-one, like if you have time.
Absolutely. I've got
If we
nothing but time.
So yeah, basically I need help like just like what do you call this, one-on-one mentoring where like just like random like questions if you can help me, and I think it will like polish me or like help me somehow, hopefully.
Okay. We can even set that up as a Zoom meeting, just you and me if you want.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Okay. I'll set that up and send you the code.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Cindy.
All right.
The girl's a doll. She's cute.
Yeah.
She's having breakfast right now.
It's
I'm
adorable.
gonna go ahead and stop the recording right now before I forget. And then